we are back showing everyone. This is our first Ridden showing event of the season. So usually I would let my horses be out in the sunshine and bath them the morning of a show, but they are out and I've bathed Donny. It's Donny who's going today, but it rained all night and look at the mud. Yeah, I'm pleased I'm on a surface today. So I have just brought Donny in from the field. He's just having his breakfast. He is a bit muddy. If he was grey, I would probably be crying right now, but thankfully because of his colour I should be able to just brush the dry mud off and it not be noticeable. So I'm just going to wait for him to have his little food time, and then I'm going to wash his 2 white socks and get him plaited, which is a job in itself. Today we are going to Limekiln Farm just for an unaffiliated show. We're just doing one Ridden class, which is the Ridden Hunter class. Really just going for experience to see how he goes. I'm not bothered about where he's placed. The only person I want to beat today is myself. I just want to do a half decent performance, him to not buck or nap or be naughty. He's obviously never been in like a show ring before where there's other horses in the ring and he's got to go round. Hello. Oh, delightful. I'm going to step away from the door now. He's just enjoying his breakfast, but I'm going to prep him and hopefully it won't take forever. But it is now 7 AM and we've got to be left here by 9:30 to get there for 10:30, and Donny's class is around 11:30, 10 to 12 kind of time. So I want to give myself plenty of time for him to settle when we get to the show. Finny, you're going to have a day in because we had so much rain last night. Your field is so mushy. You've got all the hay nets. Yes. You be a good boy. Hey guys, grueling like nearly 2 hours later, and these are my plaits which have been stitched this time. We've got a few very annoying tufts that just won't go in where it was clipped, but I'm leaving it. Hopefully it will grow out. Donny's just attacking the chair. Just got the forelock to go. His feet are all clean. Yeah, and he's been ever such a good boy, but he is getting bored now, as you can tell. Good boy. Got myself ready. All I've got to do is put my jacket on. I'm going to wear a really long coat to keep my joppers clean. And yeah, that's us ready to go. And I will see you guys when we get to Limekiln Farm. And then it was time for our class, which was just the open Ridden hunter class. Now, a hunter is split into several different categories. You get small hunters, which are usually between 148 and 158 centimetres. Then you've got your lightweight hunters, which are usually up to 16.2 with 8.5 inches of bone. Then you get middleweight hunters, and then you get your heavyweight hunters. Heavyweights being the largest of the type, being around 17.2 and having quite a lot of bone. Donny is a lightweight hunter, and this class was open to all hunter types, flat ridden. Again, we just do our normal walk, trot, canter, go round with a change of rein. He was a little bit antsy in the mouth, as you can see here when he's standing to go forward to the judge. But I was just trying to be positive, riding forward and just kind of ignore it. It's just because he's in a new bridle he's not used to. But I was really pleased with how he went in the go round. I mean, he could have been more settled in the bridle, but you know, he was really good for his first time. Now here we stand in front of the judge and he just wouldn't really settle, and he gets a little bit antsy and keeps moving back and forth, as you can see.
all I do is just sort of encourage him to stand square, be soft in the mouth, and I'm just talking to the judge and just trying to stay relaxed to encourage him to be relaxed and just stand still. And I'm hoping over time this is something he will just get better with. You can see in a minute when the judge walks around him, he is more tempted to move, and I think quite a lot of horses are, because they're used to having their handler like by their side. So he was just a little bit like messing around with his bridle and just being a baby really, but all I could do was sort of encourage him to stand and keep being patient with him really. So then the judge asks us to walk on, which we do, and she says just go straight into your show. And I kind of had this already mapped out in my head before I went forward. With Donny, I want to use my space and give him plenty of time to get his transitions and not do any sharp turns. So I just trot down the long side, and then I thought I'll trot a nice change of rein across the diagonal to give him plenty of time just to sort of settle into the contact before I start asking for the canter. And here I was really happy with how he went. I mean, he's a little bit up and down in the bridle, but he's going forwards, and I thought I'll use this corner to pick up a nice canter, and pretty pleased with that transition straight into canter. His canter is not his strongest pace at the moment, he's still a little unbalanced, so just pushing him forward down the long side. I'm not going to do a circle or anything in the canter, as that will kind of show how even more unbalanced he is. Back down to trot across the diagonal again, using my space, using the arena, and then I'm just going to breathe and ask him to canter, because I know this is his dodgier rein. So he went to go then, and I said, well, wait, and then picked up a transition kind of out of the way and not so much in the judge's eye, and then forward again down the long side. And I actually thought he felt really forwards and good, and I thought I'd try a little extension down this long side, as all hunters should have a fantastic extension. So I just asked him to go forwards a bit more. I mean, he didn't even react to the horses on the other side, which was really good. It wasn't the best, but it was, I mean, really good for him. And then again, bring it back to trot, give myself plenty of time to come down to walk a few steps nice and forward before halting for the judge. And I was really happy with this halt too. So the sun has come out, and Donny won his Ridden hunt class, so I'm going to hang around and try and do the championship, because I'm hoping there's going to be lots of horses in there. It's going to be busy and chaotic, and just give him a different atmosphere to have a look at. So it shouldn't be too much longer, and hopefully we will go into the championship. He's been very good. Mum's just handling him behind me. I just don't want to take his bridle off, because he's a bit funny about having his bridle on. And it's all this waiting around. It's very boring for babies, but I'm just trying to keep him amused. We are still waiting for the championship, which is really annoying. They've had to stop the ring because there's someone doing the in-hand that wants to do the Ridden. So they've had to like wait for her to finish the in-hand, which is really, really frustrating, because Donny is 4 and it's very boring just standing around. But luckily, as there's no one in this arena at the minute, he's just doing a little bit of tidying up of the grass. Look at that mouth. Yeah.
We love showing.
So it was then time for the championship after a crazy long wait. I think Donny waited nearly 2 hours, which I know is like insane, but I just went to this show for experience, and it's all good learning for him to stand around, behave, and then get warmed up again. It is just showing, unfortunately. Anyway, there was loads coming forward, which is what I wanted, like a big class full of horses to walk, trot and canter around with, because this is the first time he has actually done this before. So I just wanted to get him walking forward and looking his best to razzle dazzle the judge. Now, the judge in the ring was a traditional Gypsy Cob panel judge, so I kind of already knew where this was going to go, but you never ever know with a championship. Things could just completely change. It's all based down to how they go in this section alone. So in the ring, I think Donny was the only hunter in the ring. So here he is trotting around quite nicely, and I actually thought he went better in the championship than what he did in his class. He was much more settled in the bridle. Behind we've got a traditional gypsy cob, following that a fell pony, another traditional gypsy cob behind that. Then there was a Welsh D and a riding horse, which I think maybe also might be a veteran. So I'm just trying to really ride him forwards. And he's a little up and down in the contact, but yeah, I really love how he's going here. I just wish he would go forward like that without me niggling at him the whole time. But that's just schooling and will come over time. I'm just trying to look up. I would like to see myself be a little bit stiller, because I am clearly doing all the work. In a championship, you will be asked to walk, trot, canter in a group, trot a change of rein, do the same on the other rein, and then potentially extend depending on the championship. So I'm just trying to keep Donny going forwards, and he was going to sleep a little bit on me here. I was just trying to use my space and get him going nicely. We then did a change of rein, and this is the bit when the judge is really looking at you, so I really wanted to push him forwards, and I thought here he looks super duper. I just wish I could be a little stiller because it kind of ruins the overall picture. I'm a little bit flappy. And then picking up canter straight, get away again in the corner, and I just wanted to push and go forwards. He's got a very big stride, so I didn't want to get stuck behind a little pony and end up having to try and steer my way through them. So I got myself into a lovely position where I could push him into a nice canter stride. So Donny got the reserve ridden champion, so I was so happy with him. Lots of pats for Donny, and he even let the judge just put the sash straight over his head. I was so pleased with him. He's such a good boy, and I'm just really proud of how far we've come together.
Well done.
And now time to take all the pretty plats out. He's been such a good boy. He's hungry. I put them in too well because it's really hard to get out. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog. I am absolutely thrilled with my horse. The main goal was to just go and get him to walk, trot and canter nicely in the ring with other horses and behave. And he's outshone himself. He's just an absolute superstar. I just love him so much. He's just so well behaved. So I'm really happy with him, and hopefully we're on the right path to aim to do some county shows by the end of the season. But yeah, I'm very happy, and I hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog. I will see you all next week. Bye.